Okay, welcome to the sixth look at the breakdown of the teams of this tournament.
Yeah, so we have Napoli and Milan, so let's take a look at that. Welcome to the pink table. It is Thursday. We are 2 days away from kicking off. Elaine, we have Inter Genoa kickoff. We have got tickets for that game. I don't know if Elaine is going to be able to make it or not. We're still figuring out on that day with train tickets, but I'll definitely be there. So I'll definitely bring you guys footage from that. And then we're getting tickets for other games as well, where possible. So Elaine, today we have to actually catch up on a few teams here before the season kicks off, and we also have some other content we want to provide you guys, like league predictions and also just kit reviews. But today we're going to go over Milan and Napoli. So let's start off with Milan, Elaine.
Yeah, well, I think I should really pass the microphone over to you when it comes to Milan. What do you think of the Milan team going into this season?
Yeah, so we still have Pioli, which is great. We spent quite a lot of money on the transfer market, but that was mainly to just reconfirm the players we had last year, specifically Tomori, Brahim Diaz, we were able to keep. The only new addition there now is Giroud coming in as good replacement for Mandzukic. And obviously, Donnarumma leaving Milan, we replaced him with Magnan. So right now we have it down as the same formation Pioli played with last year, which is the 4-2-3-1. Brahim Diaz slotting in for Çalhanoğlu, who just left for Inter. But with that being said, Pioli has been trying out in preseason the 4-4-2. I think that's going to be very interesting to look at, especially when Ibrahimovic is fit, to see Ibrahimovic and Giroud playing possibly together. But yeah, it's an interesting team. I think there's still going to be some additions in the transfer market in the last 2 weeks. But so far, yeah, the team's looking pretty similar to last year.
Yeah, from the rumors that we're hearing in the transfer market, I think it would definitely be an upgrade looking at your formation to sub out Calabria and add Florenzi. He's a player that's never going to get you a 7 in Pagella, but he will get you a 6 every single game almost. He's a very consistent player. I think it would be a very good upgrade for you guys, and I think you're rubbing Roma blind in that deal.
I would say Florenzi is not going to be. I would say Calabria is definitely the starter, and I think Florenzi is going to be coming on for Calabria or Salamakers, depending on the role. But I think Calabria is definitely one of Milan's most improved players of last year. He's also tipped to take our captaincy now, so I don't see Florenzi taking that role from Calabria. So let's see.
Be interesting to see. But otherwise, looking at your formation, big question marks. For me, Magnan has looked good over the preseason, so it's going to be interesting to see how he steps into those shoes. Like, as good as he is he going to be as good as Donnarumma? Probably not. No. So we'll see how that goes. My biggest question mark is the attacking midfielder with Brahim Diaz, and this is probably why we're seeing Pioli look at the 4-4-2. I don't think he's good enough to lead your attacking line. Ilicic would have been a good investment, but at the same time, he can lead your line consistently for 7 games a season. So,
yeah, no, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what Maldini does in the last 2 weeks here. We are trying to add. I think Pobega is leaving off to Torino, so I think there's talks today that Bakayoko is linked to Milan again, and then there's also Adli from Bordeaux that Milan are attempting to get. So there's a lot of things moving, a lot of moving pieces. Maldini just needs to tie some down, get the people in. I think it's going to be towards the end of the transfer market, which in a way is unfortunate because the season's already started and we're 2 games in. And now with Kessie being injured, it seems like Benacer and Tonali are going to be starting against Samp and most likely against Cagliari as well.
I don't know how true it is, but I've heard rumor that Bakayoko might be on his way back into Milan.
Yeah, so it might be Milan, or apparently there's also Rennes and also Napoli. So let's see what things go up. I trust in Maldini to do the right decisions. He's done so far. But yeah, stamp of approval. Listen, I'm not going to approve the Milan team. I feel that we maybe are weaker than last year, even though we do have a striker, which was our main issue when Ibrahimovic was injured. But let's see what Maldini does in the next 2 weeks, and then we can decide.
Yeah, I think that if we take a look at your depth overall, you've probably improved as a team. But losing Çalhanoğlu for Brahim and losing Donnarumma for Magnan is definitely a little bit of a step down initially. Maybe it won't be in the long term, but it definitely is immediately. Yeah. So I don't think we can say Milan has improved this season, but they're definitely looking consolidated with the same coach and a lot of the same players.
Okay, so moving into Napoli. So Napoli changed coach, moved away from Gattuso, and are now coached by Spalletti. Very interesting team. It's kept the same formation as what Gattuso kept. But the team's looking pretty similar. I think the only acquisition, Elaine, they've done so far is Juan Jesus.
Yeah, Juan Jesus leaving Roma on a free transfer as a free agent and walking into Napoli. Amazing the career that he's had for a bench warmer, Inter, Roma and Napoli. I think his agent deserves a pat on the back. But otherwise, lots of questions on this defense when it comes to Napoli. Meret has got the defense, has got the goals locked down. And the wing backs seem pretty steady with Di Lorenzo on the right and Mario Rui on the left. But will Koulibaly and Manolas stay? That's the big question for the defense, I would say.
Yeah, I know PSG were trying to get Koulibaly, and Manolas has also said yesterday that he wants to go back to Greece and is also willing to drop his salary of 4 million euro to about 1.5 million euro to move back to Greece. So let's see what happens there. That's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, so for me now, this is really the weakest link when you take a look at this team, is that defensive midfield. Fabian Ruiz is a spectacular player, but will Diego Demme be able to step up in that defensive midfield position? Zielinski offers a lot going forward in the middle of the three-man attacking midfield, but he doesn't really offer enough defensively, and neither do Insigne and Lozano. They're great at going forward, but I think this team lacks that ball winner in the middle.
Yeah. They're spearheaded by Osimhen once again, who last year was plagued by injuries, COVID. So hopefully this year we can see what he's capable of, and that 80 million price tag. I think he will hopefully shine. He's a great player. He's also very young, so he's gotten used to the Serie A. It was a good break-in year to get used to the Serie A, but now this is his year to shine on that front. The one question mark is around Insigne. He still has not renewed his contract. Apparently has a meeting with De Laurentiis next week. So after the first game, he's also injured for the first game, which is also fueling his transfer rumors. Maybe it's not an actual injury. It's just for him not to play the first game, so he doesn't get injured to make his transfer happen. He is being linked to a few teams. It seems like with Sanchez being injured from Inter might do an offer for Insigne there as well. But I don't see Insigne leaving Napoli then.
No, a lot of the talk that we're seeing out of Napoli seems to me as a strategic way for Insigne to get the contract that he deserves. If you take a look at the contract that he was offered by De Laurentiis, it really is unfair. Not only was he not offered the bump in salary that he was promised, but his new salary actually looks lower than the one that he's had for the last 4 years.
And at 28-year-old, you're at your peak of your career. It's like,
yeah, not only that, you're also just recently European champion. So I think he does deserve more. I think at the very least, De Laurentiis could have said to him, look, we didn't make Champions League last year. Here's the same salary as you've previously had. But with these bonuses, including Champions League in the future, your salary will go up.
Yeah. So with that being said, stamp of approval is for an improved team from last year. So Napoli can't get that as they've not improved their team. They're still a good team. Like, don't get me wrong. I think they're favorites to at least make full spots. But for me, there's no approval because I don't see the team being better than last year.
Okay, so for me, it's a weird one. If they can hold on to Manolas and Koulibaly and don't land up having Juan Jesus as a starter, just because Osimhen hopefully stays fit this season, I say they've improved.
Yeah, and Spalletti might be.
And Spalletti, like, as much as he's caused a lot of shit in Roma circles, he is an incredibly good tactician, and he knows how to bring out the best in his centre forward.
Okay, fair enough. So let's give them the stamp of approval. And yeah, so Napoli is looking good, and I do rate them quite high this year. And they also don't have to focus on the Champions League. I think they're in Europa League, so let's see how they fare there. Okay.
Yeah, so thank you for joining us for this episode of The Pink Table. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Also, take a look through the videos, find our fantasy football league. I think we're up to about 25 teams now for the eventual €100 Amazon gift card prize at the end. So if you haven't, join now. It's free to do so. And we'll see you tomorrow, or actually a little bit later on The Pink Table.